Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the M Word. My name's Robin. I'm the technical director here at Man and Machine in the UK, and as ever, it's a pleasure to have you with me this afternoon. Firstly, if you're new to these sessions, check out our YouTube channel. We've got a whole range of different videos like this that go into the depths and breadths of the Autodesk design software, data management tools, project lifecycle tools, and give you tips, tricks, demos, how-to, training sessions, you name it. If there's a workflow inside of the Autodesk products, whether you're in construction, whether you're in product design and manufacturing, there's likely something on there in the, I was going to say hours and hours of videos, but days and days worth, if not years and years worth of videos that we have done over the years. Please give us a like, please give us a subscribe. And give us some feedback. Let us know what content you want to see, whether it's as part of these M-Word sessions that we air on Thursday afternoons, or whether it's just a generic video. What do you like to see? What makes you tick? What doesn't? And we can really try and make something that helps you in your day-to-day workflows. To today's session, we're going to do some whistle-stop training on Autodesk Docs. If you're in the manufacturing space, we did the same thing last week for Vault. Go and check it out. It's on our channel. But we're going to do a whistle-stop training for users in Autodesk Docs. We're not going to cover the whole range of features and functions because, quite frankly, we just don't have time. We'd be here for half a day if we wanted to do a full training course on every single feature. But we're going to show you some basic functionality, how to navigate around, how to upload files, download files, create folders, manage permissions on folders, and things like that to get you started. So whether you are an administrator just getting going, whether you are a user just getting started, or maybe you want to realign your skills after some time not using it, hopefully this session will help you out. So let me shrink myself down into the corner and let me share my screen. So I'm already logged in to ACC. acc.autodesk.com if you are using the US server like me, or acc.autodesk.eu if you are using the European server. Once there, log yourselves in using your Autodesk ID and password that your subscription is linked to, and you will be logged into the Construction Cloud. This is the My Home page. This is a dashboard view that is fully customizable. I'm not going to show you this today. You don't need to know it as new users. So we're going to head straight over to the Projects tab. And on our Projects tab, we have a list of projects that are available for us inside of our system. So if you're brand new to Docs, this will be empty, apart from the sample project. If you're not new to Docs, then the likelihood is you have some projects in here. All you need to know is you can scroll the page, or you can perform a search. Based on performing the search, it filters your list. Now I'm focusing on Autodesk Docs today, but as part of the Construction Cloud, there are a whole range of different tools. With those tools, we have the ability to launch Docs, Takeoff, Build, Cost Management, whatever it might be, by default against your projects. So whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that your default launch is set against the project that you want to work on. Okay, so that's what this particular icon means in here. We don't need to care about this right here and now, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a project. And we're actually going to create a project completely from scratch, imagining that you are fresh, you don't have anything, and you are just getting started. So go ahead and click Create Project. And from there, we're going to give it a name. So I'm going to type in YouTube Live. From there, we're going to give it a project number. So let's go 99999. And then we can link this to an account. We can give this a project type. I always pick theme parks because they're fun. So let's go ahead and pick a project type. And that's all the information that we need to put in against our project. Feel free to go and fill out as much metadata as you need. The template drop down here is where you would choose if you want to start your project using a project template, which generally speaking, when you're using this tool, that is what you want to do. What you as an administrator or what your administrator will do as part of this process of getting up to speed on Autodesk Docs is they will create a or some project templates. Those project templates will have default settings or base settings like a base folder structure, a base set of users, a base set of permissions, so on and so forth. Everything from specific review workflows, issue templates, you name it. We can choose to create a project using those base template settings by selecting the template from the list. Or we can have a complete fresh blank sandbox, which is what we're doing today, and leave it blank. Go ahead and click Create Project. In my case, I did a practice run earlier and my project name already exists. So I'm going to call it Project YouTube Live, YouTube L2, that'll do. Create project. So that project will be created and that will load up in the background. Might take a couple of seconds or so, but eventually you will be loaded into the project admin interface. Okay. And from this interface, you have settings and interfaces that are specific to project administration. So if you're not an administrator on the Construction Cloud, you won't be able to do this. Go and get those permissions and come back and join again. Or watch it on our channel. It will be on there as soon as this live's done, or even now because it's live. Hey, so we're in our project admin. And firstly, the interface, really easy. We have a main menu on the left-hand side. Far left, we have our toolbar, which shows us all the different areas within the current workspace that we have selected. I'm currently in the project admin workspace, but you can change that using the drop down on the top left of your screen. We have a members area where we can add and manage members of our platform. I've created the project, I haven't used a template, and it's from scratch. So you will see just yourself in there. So we can see that because I've created the project, here I am, I'm on the project. By selecting the user that you have in that list, you get a little flyout on the right-hand side here. And against that flyout, we can control certain things relating to that user, in this case, ourselves. We can control what company we are part of. If we have a specific role on this project, we can control whether we have any specific level of access. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is set your own user so it's got the right kind of permissions. That will include access to specific products or tools. Now I have the whole of the Construction Cloud, so I can turn all these on, but you want to turn on the ones that you have subscriptions to. We're just focusing on Docs today, so I'm going to turn on Docs to make sure that we assign Docs against me on the project. By doing that, I'm making sure that the product and permissions to use that product against this project are turned on. If I go to Add Members, we have a drop down that allows me to quick add members. That's good for multiples. Or we can just click Add Members to run through a process of adding members onto the account. From here, we can type as many email addresses that we want, as long as it's under 100, and I can add people onto this account. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my colleague, Bianca. Start typing, and it knows that they're already part of my hub, so I can select them. In your case, just type their email address. Once you've typed their email addresses, if I add Karen as well, I can press Enter. Those users will be added to this list where I can specify any additional information, once again, such as their company, their role, and their access level, as well as the products that you want them to access on the project. Send the invitations, and that will start the project and give those users access. It might take a couple of seconds for the following screen to update, but you will see quickly that that information is added. And we now have a project with some users like so. We can also set up additional information on here, which we're not going to do today, but we can add companies. We can control handover export information. We can also set up notification settings should you want to at a project level. What's important to note at a user level is on the very far right hand side at the top. You can set your user notification settings. That chooses what you individually want to receive notification wise against your projects. We can choose whether we're receiving action against issues every hour, instantly, or daily. We can control what we receive and when we receive it. We can do that on bulk, or we can do that individually as necessary. That allows you as an individual user to set your permissions, to set your priorities based on what you want to receive and when you want to receive them, which again is really, really beneficial. So, to recap, we've created a project and we've added our first users. We've made sure that we have access to docs on here and that they are ready to go on this project. Also on the top left, we've got this projects drop down. That shows me a list of all the projects that we have access to. And once again, it is searchable. So to be able to go to different projects, we can control the project on this drop down. This drop down gives me the different tools available in this project, and I can swap between them. This drop down gives me access to different projects that I have access to or permissions to. Let's jump from Project Admin and from our Workspace selector, go to Docs to take you to the document management homepage of our project. Now, once again, this is a sandbox now. It's completely blank. I haven't used a template. This is not how we would typically recommend that you run. But for the purpose of this quick start training, it's exactly what you need for me to be able to show you some tools and get you started. So within the Files area, which is this one at the top, we are displayed a folder structure. Here it is here. We have one folder, which is our project files. Against our project files, we have the ability as an administrator to hit the three dots and add subfolders. I'm going to go ahead and add a subfolder, which is work in progress. I'm going to press the tick. That creates a subfolder under my project files. I'm going to go into my WIP folder and I'm going to add additional subfolders. I'm going to have a folder for me. I'm going to have a folder that I'm going to use the three dots and rename for Kaz. And I'm going to rename this one for Bianca. Against those folders, I can use the three dots and assign permissions. So against Bianca's folder, I'm going to give Bianca full permissions to manage that folder. Whereas with Kaz, I'm going to say that she can only, they're all project administrators. My mistake, sorry. Let's go back to my project settings. Project admin doesn't help when you've made them all administrators. Go back to my members. I'm going to make me the administrator and I'm going to make Kaz a member and Bianca a member. My mistake, sorry. Let's go back. It's because they're already set up on the project or in the account. So with my folder structure, you could say that was a deliberate mistake because you'll see how quickly the system has updated with those settings. So now in the Bianca folder, only I have permissions. I can add permissions by user, by role, or by company. So I'm going to just do them by individual for the purpose of the day. So select who you want to assign the role to, and then select the permissions that you want them to have. This is Bianca's manage or WIP folder, so I'm going to give her full edit permissions. I'm going to go to Kaz's folder, and I'm going to add permissions against Kaz for this project, and I'm going to say that I want her to have edit permissions on her own folder, but only myself permissions on my folder. From there, I'm going to choose my WIP, and I'm going to say, choose my project files, and I'm going to say that I want to add a subfolder called shared. Within my subfolder there, I'm going to open it, change the permissions, and I'm going to give both Bianca and Karen access to that folder, which will be to view, download, publish markups, and upload. So create permissions. So using that workflow, we can very quickly build a folder structure. We can also use the three dots to be able to control the permissions against each folder. I've done that on the screen using individual named users. Typically speaking, you want to add those permissions by role. That allows you to group the permissions and have several users linked to a role, or indeed by company, whichever you prefer at the end of the day. But generally speaking, the process is the same. You add the folder, you go to the permission settings, and you choose the users, the groups, or the companies that you want to work excuse me, within that folder. There are a whole load of other options, most of which are self-explanatory, but you've got the ability to come in and work with all sorts of different options against that file or against that folder. Now, what I'm going to do on this machine here is I'm just going to open up and get a file to upload for the purpose of this. And what we'll do is we'll just use a very simple AutoCAD file just to keep this really simple. A lot of the time in this workflow, you see Revit documents. You could do the same thing with a Revit file if you wanted to. You could do the same thing with a Word document or with an Excel file. I'm just going to get a couple of files and just upload them onto Docs. And I'm just going to show you the easiest and the quickest way of doing so. I'm going to open up AutoCAD and Microsoft Word here in the background. And against those, maybe I'll use Excel actually, a bit more exciting. Against those particular files, we will use those to upload examples onto the system. So firstly, I'm going to get Excel open. And inside of Excel, I'm just going to add, this is a sample. So you can see it's a nice fresh file. And with that file, I'm going to just do a file. I'm going to save that as, and I'm going to just put that into a folder. I'll use my downloads and we will pull that issues getting my save as dialog box on the screen. Okay, I'll do it on the other screen. So sample Excel, I'll just call that sample Excel file and save that away. And then I'm going to do the same thing with AutoCAD. Let's just drag that over. I'm going to create a brand new file in AutoCAD. I'll do this really simply. Again, we'll just have a very simple rectangle, nothing overly exciting. And I'll just save that away. Into my downloads folder so I can find it easily. And I'm just going to call it drawing 1. Yes, we have direct in-application support and we can save these directly from AutoCAD, so on and so forth. I'm just showing you the easiest way, just because I can. So what we'll do is we'll go and click where it says upload files. And then from my downloads folder, I'm going to drag and drop my Excel document and my drawing and upload them into the system. This does two things. Firstly, it uploads the files to the cloud. The second thing it will do is it will process the files. That will be near instant for the Excel document, but for the drawing it will take a little bit longer, especially if it's a complicated drawing, because it's got to look at and learn and understand how that file is put together so that it can work properly from a viewing perspective. There's the files now live. I've actually, on purpose, put them into the wrong place. They're directly within WIP now. But I'm going to grab both of those and I'm going to move them by using the move command. So to select the files that you've drag and dropped to upload and then choose move. Put them into the relevant folder and you can move them instantly. They will be moved along with all of their metadata, which you can see has been attached on the right hand side here. So let's imagine, first of all, that we want to add a description for these files. We want to add some metadata. Firstly, I can just hover over any piece of metadata and hit the pen to update it. A sample drawing. And against the Excel, hit the pen, a sample spreadsheet. Apart from I can't spell. Try that again. Spreadsheet. There we go. So we can add metadata like so. As an admin, if you want to add custom metadata, hit the cog, go to attribute settings, say create attribute and give the attribute a name. My first attribute. Choose how you want that field to work. Let's use a drop-down list. Let's add a value to that drop-down. I'm just going to say yes. Add value, no. So a simple to selection. Click create. I can then put a tick in the box and press save. This attribute will then be added onto my dialog box or onto my form. I can simply move that around by clicking the cog and dragging. You see these little dots here? Click and hold against the dots and move it up. I can then change the value of that as I see fit. If I wanted to locate these files later, and I didn't want to have to navigate manually through the folders, we can go to the top level. We can do a search by clicking search and filter. We can search for what it is that we're looking for. So I could search for drawing and press search. it will pretty quickly go ahead and find the drawing that we're looking for. Or maybe I want to search for anything that has yes against my first attribute. So on my top level, I'm going to search all folders, and against that folder, I'm searching for files that filters, unticking any irrelevant project attribute, and selecting I just care about this one. My first attribute I want to be yes. Search. That'll go and find those two files. I can save that search against this project by clicking Save Search. I can say filter by yes. Hit save. That search can then be performed time and time again. From the files area, I can go to Search, Saved Searches, and click Filter by Yes to do that search instantly. So really quickly, we've added some folders, we've given some specific permissions to those folders, and we've uploaded an AutoCAD drawing and an Excel file by drag and drop. If I click on the Excel file, it will open it in Microsoft 365 so long as you have a subscription to Microsoft 365, and it will allow you to work with it. I can come and say Edit Workbook to be able to edit that file live directly in ACC. Once we've made our change, we can close the file. Throw me that I've lost my cross. And by making that change, we can see that this is now updated to V2. So to edit a 365 file, you click it and you edit away, just like you would if we were on SharePoint or something like that. The AutoCAD file is viewable, so I can click the file to view it. Oh, I haven't said the Excel file. I want to view the drawing, please. So we open the drawing, and that drawing is viewable directly inside of ACC. Same with the PDF, the same with the Revit file, the same with an Inventor file, with a SketchUp file, so on and so forth. Check the Autodesk webpage and you'll get a full listing of the different supported file types. With that file open, you can see that we can navigate around, we can add measurements, we have the ability to do redline markup, and more. We'll come back to that in a second, because before we get into the depths of the viewer, I want to show you that this particular drawing, we can use the three dots and we can open it in AutoCAD for Web. Be able to do live edits directly in here, just like we just did with Microsoft 365. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is download it and open it in AutoCAD for desktop. Again, I'm doing this the easiest, most manual way. You can download Desktop Connector and do this directly from your workstation. What I want to do is show you that from these three dots, I can lock this file. This file then gets a padlock next to it, meaning that no other users can open and edit that file. It's checked out to me. I have the ability to download that source file, to download that file onto my machine. Now on version 2, and based on doing that, we can unlock the file again by hitting the three dots and choosing Unlock, making this file available once more to the wider project team. Let's go ahead and click on the file to have a look at it once again in 2D and explore the wider functionality that you have inside the viewer. When working with AutoCAD, typically we're looking at 2D. It's important to show you on the left-hand side, we have our views and sheets available to us. So if you've got multiple bits of paper space, we can view those directly in the system here. We've got the ability to control layers. We've got the ability to work with viewpoints. And we've got the ability to work with redline markup. So should I want to, I can come on here and start adding revision clouds by clicking the relevant markup tool and using the feedback in the viewer to click and hold, drag my mouse and let go again to place some revision cloud. Against this, I can choose to have that as private markup. Just leave it alone. Only you can see that markup when you open the file. I can also reference that to something else. So maybe we want to reference that redline markup to an existing file on our system. We can go ahead and select the Excel file that we uploaded earlier from our WIP area. So we can add redline markup, but make that redline markup intelligent. I've linked that to my Excel sample file, but it's unpublished at the moment, meaning that only I can view it. I'm also going to show you that on the right-hand side, we can also add an issue. The system has full issue management controls. We can choose to add an issue, selecting the type of issue, such as design. Choose a location for that issue, and then add comments on the form to the right-hand side. This form is fully customizable in your admin settings. I won't go through that today, but all you need to know is you're filling out the form with required information. Go ahead and add an issue alongside your markup. I'm going to add my issue as a design issue. I'm going to say design needs filleting. Apart from I can't spell filleting. Design needs filleting. Please add a fillet to this square. Submit. So very non-construction based examples that we're working on, but you get the idea on how quick you can start working. So we've uploaded a file. We've downloaded and edited that file, creating a second version. We've shown you how to add private redline markup, and we started to show you how to manage issues by using the Issues tool. It's also worth pointing out that to the top right, we can compare drawings. As long as we're comparing apples with apples, we can compare version 2 to version 1. We can say compare, and the system will go ahead and compare those two drawings for us. You can see that it color codes the changes. Blue is version 1 and red is version 2. I can view those as an overlay or side by side to be able to see the difference in real time. We can also get feedback on exactly what's going on the design, however we see fit. If we close that, going back to our main screen, we can take that file, we can take the Excel document, and we can use the three dots. By ticking the three dots when you have multiple files selected, you're saying that you want to push multiple files through some form of workflow, such as copying them, sharing a file link, or maybe putting them through to a review process. This is a completely blank project, so I can't show you all of those right now, but I'm going to push them very simply through to a transmittal. If you want to know how review workflows work, go ahead and look at the other videos that we have on our channel, because we have a whole range of different ACC Docs videos to take you through that process. All I'm going to do is create a transmittal from those two documents, and I'm going to say, please check. The recipients can be people in my project, so I'm going to just send those to Bianca and Kaz. I'm going to select those two files, say that they have ability to only see themselves and not see other recipients. I'm going to say create, and this will go ahead and create a transmittal. If we look on the left-hand side of our screen, we can see two areas, issues and transmittals. If we go to the issues area, we can see the issue that we created earlier. Design needs filleting. We can select that. We can see the information about the issue. We can even go as far as to go directly to the issue by clicking the relevant link on the issue itself. Again, really simple stuff, straightforward, almost so easy that you could teach You could learn this yourself. So we can go straight to that issue from that issue screen. If we go to our transmittals, it shows me any transmittal that I've sent. From that top level, you can instantly see who has viewed and who has downloaded your transmittal. Everything in ACC is fully audited and fully logged. So it's easy to come in and see exactly what's happening, when it's happening, and why it's happened. Everything is ID'd with an ID number, and it's impossible to delete from ACC. Even if you're a full super user, administrative user, it's only possible to put stuff in the recycle bin and archive it. The only option you have once something is archived is to unarchive it. So you have a full, secure system that allows you to work on files centrally, that allows you to share information between different design teams, and allows you to start doing things like issue management, sharing redline markup for design review meetings, so on and so forth. All of that information that you put in becomes auditable and becomes reportable. So we've got a full workable system that within the case of 25 minutes or so, we've gone through and created a project from scratch. We've got a very, very basic folder structure in here. We've used that folder structure to upload an Excel document and an AutoCAD drawing. We've up-versioned the Excel file using Microsoft 365, and we've up-versioned the AutoCAD file using AutoCAD by checking the file out to us, downloading it, editing it, and re-uploading it as version 2. We've shown you how to compare differences between versions of files. We've showed you how to add issues and transmit those files to other users. Hopefully this has kickstarted your interest and kickstarted your use of Autodesk Docs, whether you're using this as a trial, whether you're using it within your AEC collection, or whether you're reminding yourself how some of the core tools work. If you found this session useful, let us know. We have a whole range of online self-paced e-learning courses for Autodesk Docs, BIM Collaborate, and Build for both users and administrators, so you can get started in similar videos to this today, quickly and easily. If you need help configuring things like your review workflows, like your project templates, give us a call, reach out, we will be more than happy to help. I really hope that's been useful. Thank you ever so much for watching. Happy document management, and until next time, take care. Goodbye.